Year 7, Mr. Tapley here for your next lesson of Year 7 Humanities. At this lesson, we are looking at developing our understanding of the livability factors that need to be addressed to create a livable city. Success criteria is to outline specific livability factors and their impact on our health and happiness. In the previous lesson, we explored several livability factors that impact our quality of life. This lesson, we'll be outlining these topics in greater detail and evaluating the importance of different livability factors to a livable city. So we looked at the images of places around the world. We briefly talked about what makes a livable city. We looked at the top 10 livable cities in the world last year. And we came up with things like, well, education is important, healthcare, access to water, businesses, money, housing, all of these things impact our quality of life. All of these things are livability factors. In this unit of Term 4 Geography, we will be focusing on the top 10. So we're looking at 10 key livability factors, because we don't have enough time to look at them all, that impact the quality of life in cities or nations around the world. As you read the definition of each livability factor, consider how these factors would be important to you and others. Which of these is most and least important in your opinion? You're going to have a different opinion to other people. That's fine. Different countries around the world, different cultures will value education over healthcare. They will value the access to fresh food and water as being way more important than housing. So different places, different people, that's fine. But the top 10 that we are looking at are, in no order, the environment and the climate, the weather in a region. So having a safe, clean environment, access to fresh water, need water to live. I need water because I'm losing my voice. Availability of food, housing, infrastructure, which is a big word, but it means some pretty simple things. Safety, education, employment, so jobs, healthcare, and then arts and culture. So what I'm going to do over the next slide, or two, or three, is go over those top 10 livability factors. So as you're reading along, as you're listening along, think about which one is important to you, which is least important, and maybe some of them that we are missing from this top 10. What do you think should have made the top 10 list? What have I got wrong? So, the first livability factor that we'll be looking at over the next couple of weeks is the environment. So the environment and the climate. The features of the environment, so the wildlife that live there, forests, beaches, etc., the climate, so the rainfall and the temperature, will all impact the livability of a location. Our health and happiness is improved by a clean environment with no pollution. Access to fresh water. This one's pretty straightforward. You need water to live, the end. We use water in cooking, cleaning, farming, sewage, homes, businesses. We literally cannot survive without water. I shouldn't have to explain that one to you. Availability of food, same thing. Without a reliable source of not just food, but food that we can afford to eat, and accessible food, so food that I don't have to travel 700 miles for, our health will suffer, which will impact other aspects of our life. So if I'm not healthy, if I don't have enough food, I'm probably not going to have the energy to go to school, or to do well in school, or to find a job. Housing. The availability of, again, not just any old housing, but quality housing, so good housing that won't blow over when the wind comes, affordable housing that is not too expensive, and secure housing, housing that is safe, will greatly impact the livability of a city. Shelter is one of our basic human needs. Without it, we cannot live. Infrastructure. There's that big word I was talking about. Infrastructure is a big fancy term for structures. So buildings and utilities, the basic services and buildings that you need for a city. So infrastructure means a lot of things. So it's referring to roads, hospitals, police, airports, trains, electricity, plumbing, basically all the bits and pieces of a city. So when I say what makes a city different than a village or a silly farm from ancient Greece, you'd say, well, cities all have roads. They all have emergency services like firefighters and policemen and doctors. So all of those things there make up infrastructure. Safety. Living in a safe and secure and stable location is important for your quality of life. Cities with high crime, corruption, and conflict have low livability. It's hard to have a happy and healthy life if your country is completely at war every year. So that's going to impact the livability of a region. Final slide. Good, I'm losing my voice. Education. Knowledge is power. A city with a range of schools and other educational facilities, such as universities, TAFEs, specialist training places, will provide its people with opportunities to find jobs, to create new technologies and discoveries, and effectively participate in society. So to find a job, to earn money, to afford housing or food or water, I need education, I need training. Employment. Connecting back to our economics unit, employment is important. Jobs equal money, money equal goods and services equals needs and wants. Healthcare. To maintain our health and improve our living standards, people need access to medicine, healthcare, doctors, hospitals, specialist clinics. So I could have one doctor who looks at specifically eye surgery for Mr. Tapley. Pharmacies. So all those things are important to the livability of a place. Last one is arts and culture. Remembering our civics unit way back in term 1. If we remember back to that unit, you would recall we looked at culture and how culture is important to our life and our identity. So you can have a job, you can be educated and have a home, but if you don't have arts and culture, if you don't have music or media, so film, no TV, no YouTube, you're not allowed to look at anything on your phone unless it's educational. You're not allowed to go to church, you're not allowed to speak a different language. All those things make up our culture, all those things are important, and they will be affecting the livability of a region. So, now that you've got some information about livability factors, what I would like you to do this lesson is these 3 questions here. Chuck them in your digital notebook or your physical notebook now that we're back at school. Question 1. I'd like you to rank the top 10 livability factors that we've looked at from most to least important in your opinion. So you just need to write them out, 1 to 10. So I'd recommend looking at this slide here. Think about which one is most important, which one is least important. No wrong answers there. It's your opinion. Could be different to your mates. Feel free to talk to your mates about it if that helps you. But what is your top 10? Question 2. I'm not going to have you explain all of them because that might take a while. But I would like you to explain, to justify your first and your last. So your most and least important livability factor. So explain why you believe this factor has such a positive impact on livability, or why you think it doesn't really have any impact at all, or why you think it's a negative influence. Question 3. Identify 2 or 3 livability factors that you believe are missing from our key livability factors we've examined in this lesson. So on the very first slide, we do have more than 10 on this slide, and I've picked the top 10 to look at, but I could be wrong. So I'd like you to tell me 2 or 3 other livability factors that you think should be added to the list. So brainstorm, think about everything that you need to be happy and healthy. It can be something really specific to you. I had on the very first slide, hopefully, technology, yes. I'd be very upset if I didn't have technology in my city, if I didn't have smartphones, if I didn't have TVs or laptops or microphones to record this video. So maybe that's something that you place in the top 10, but other people disagree with. So 2 or 3 factors that are not on the list, and tell me why they are important. That's all we're doing for this lesson, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Otherwise, best of luck, hope you're well, and cheers.